war.
Yeah, he opened his briefing yesterday at the White House by showing that device that will provide tests quickly, and that laboratory is ramping up and trying to get out there. But you're right that that's one point, although he's moved with Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx on moving the date to April 30th when everybody should stay home, he won't concede that point on testing, which is key because we don't really know how big the problem is. We can't get our arms around the problem until we have enough tests to test all these people. And we're months behind. All these companies are helping catch up. But there's still a lot of work to do. And that story you mentioned, two sources now confirming to NBC News that President Trump did, in fact, tell governors on a conference call yesterday he, quote, hasn't heard about testing in weeks, suggesting the lack of kits nationwide no longer a problem. Here is audio obtained by CBS News from a conference call between the White House and the country's governors.
Do you have any system in place that you feel can adequately identify cases and isolate them and contact trace them, or are the capabilities and resources there that that's not something that you can do given with what you have?
Yes, Dr. Fauci, we are trying to do contact tracing, but literally we are one day away if we don't get test kits from the CDC that we wouldn't be able to be tested in Montana. We have gone time and time again to the private side of this, the private market, and where the private market is telling us is that it's the national resources that are then taking our orders apart. Basically, so we're getting our orders canceled. That's for PPE, that's for testing supplies, that's for testing equipment. So while we're trying to do all the contact tracing, we don't have adequate tests to necessarily do it. We don't have the PPE along the way, and we're not finding markets to be able to do that along the way, or private suppliers. So we do have to rely on a national chain of distribution, or we're not going to get it. But we are doing our best to try to do exactly that. And like Gallatin County would be an example where we have almost half of our overall states, those are the positives. So we're trying to shift the supplies to really isolate that and use contact tracing, but we just don't have enough supplies to do the testing.
Tony, you can answer it if you want, but I haven't heard about testing in weeks. We've tested more now than any nation in the world. We've got these great tests, and we come out with another one tomorrow where it's, almost instantaneous testing. But I haven't heard about testing being a problem.
So that, of course, was President Trump ending the call there, saying he hasn't heard about testing in weeks. Joe, for people who are just listening, that was Governor Steve Bullock of Montana saying we are one day away from not being able to test. Clearly, there are not enough test kits out there. Again, it's a point the president will not concede.
So this is where his alternative facts and his alternative reality cost lives. I mean, this is a good example of an audio tape that I think historians could key in on to talk about his failed leadership. And it's one thing to be caught off guard at the beginning. Yeah. He was caught off guard at the beginning, and as we've said, and as I've said, I'll just put this on me. I don't care about what happened in the past. I care about what he does in the future, and we can debate the past in the fall in the election. But when the president lies yesterday in a call with governors where you have Dr. Fauci saying, what do you all need? Are you able to do tracing? And a governor articulately explains in detail the crisis they're having in their state, that they're always one day away from getting testing, and that the federal government actually crushes their efforts to get testing. And then the president of the United States comes in and he does that sort of rote response. I haven't heard about testing in weeks. We've got beautiful testing, blah, 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 blah.
Instantaneous.
It's just, it is so reckless. The correct answer is, yes, there is a shortfall. We're doing everything we can to bring it up to line. Governor, we're going to make sure that we don't step on you, that the federal government doesn't step on the states. We're excited about Abbott Labs' 5-minute testing. They're going to have dozens of points across the United States. I mean, that's what a leader would do. But in this case, Mika, you actually have the president of the United States lying, saying he hasn't heard about testing in weeks. And don't bring this up to be partisan. I bring it up to say he can't act this way. We are at war. That would be like a general being pinned down against the Nazis, as he's moving towards Berlin and calling and saying we don't have any air support, and headquarters saying, oh, you've got, I haven't had anybody complaining for weeks about not having air support. You've got beautiful air support while people are dying on the ground. We can't afford alternative realities. We can't afford rote political speeches. We can't afford lies. We need action. We need tests, whether you're talking about Montana or whether you're talking about President Trump's own Palm Beach County, whether you're talking about New York. This pandemic continues, and yes, we're ramping up on tests. Just tell Americans that. Don't lie. They've all got the receipts. They've all got the video clips. They all know what you say. Turn the page completely. You've done it on science when it comes to keeping the United States quarantined, closed down until this is done right. You've got to do it on testing. You've got to do it on PPEs. You've got to stop the conspiracy theories about ventilators. You've got to stop the conspiracy theories about masks. You've got to stop the conspiracy theories about gloves. There is no black market. There's a lot going on here. There are a lot of shortages. This is don't project. Nobody's stealing these masks and reselling them in a secondary market, Mr. President. That's distracting from the life and death decisions that are being made every day in emergency rooms and, yes, even in governor's mansion.